Hello, my name is Matthew, and this is the second in a series of videos about Nakama. Nakama is an open source backend server for games developers. If you want to learn more about what Nakama does, then follow the link on screen right now to watch the previous video. In this video, we're going to look at two ways of installing the open source version of Nakama. First off, we'll use Docker to install Nakama on a development laptop. Then we'll install Nakama on a DigitalOcean droplet. So, let's get started with installing Nakama on this laptop here. If you want to follow along, take a look at the page shown on the screen below. The easiest way to get Nakama running locally is to use Docker. Assuming you already have Docker and Docker Compose installed, all you need is a Docker Compose file, and you can find one on the screen now. Let's copy the contents of that Docker Compose file and paste it into a text editor. Now I've done that, I'll save the file as nakama dockercomposer.yml. That file tells Docker where to find Nakama and PostgreSQL, which is the database that Nakama will use. Okay, let's open a terminal. I'm now going to tell Docker Compose to take the file I just saved and execute it. Now we'll see both Nakama and Postgres come up in Docker containers that Docker Compose will connect together. Thankfully, you don't need to worry about the detail of how they work together, they just do. Okay, so now Nakama is running, we can take a look at the developer console. On the machine where your Nakama instance is running, visit 127.0.0.1 at port 7351. You can use admin as a username and password as the password. The console lets you see the status of your Nakama instance, as well as updating configuration, managing player accounts, and diving into the data stored. So, we know Nakama is running, now let's make it do something. I'm going to authenticate a player using their email address. This time I'll use JavaScript, but I could just as easily use something else like Unity. So let's do it. If you want to follow along, then take a look at the page shown on the screen now. Authenticating a player creates a session that the client uses to interact with Nakama. As we're authenticating by email address, obviously we need that email address, but we must also provide a password. And as we're creating a new player account, we'll also specify create as true. Usernames in Nakama are distinct from the identity provider, meaning that a player can log in using different forms of auth but still maintain a consistent identity. So let's specify a username. If we were authenticating an existing player, we wouldn't need to provide the username, and we'd also specify create as false. Right, let's go back to the developer console to view our newly created player. And there we are. As you can see, getting started with Nakama on your laptop is really straightforward. It's a great way to get started developing. But what about when you want to go into production? Well, Heroic Labs, the company behind Nakama, offer a managed cloud product. Running Nakama in the Heroic Labs managed cloud means that you can focus on creating gameplay experiences, while the Heroic Labs team makes sure that Nakama runs around the clock and scales to the level you need. Before you go into production, you might want to experiment with Nakama as part of a team. One easy way to do that is to install Nakama using the DigitalOcean Marketplace. In case you've not seen it before, DigitalOcean's Marketplace lets you deploy all sorts of different software with just a few clicks. Let's search for Nakama, and then click the Create Nakama Droplet button. Now we need to select the size of the droplet. A droplet is what DigitalOcean calls a virtual machine, and you can select any size of droplet available on this page. Next, let's choose the data center. Then we can click Create. Now, the marketplace will kick off a process similar to what we just saw on my laptop. It'll fire up Nakama and the database it relies on, then connect the two. And we're done. We have a Nakama instance suitable for testing up and running with virtually no effort at all. Let's take a look at the console. So, we've just installed Nakama on my laptop and then on a cloud instance. In both cases, getting Nakama up and running took a couple of minutes at most. In the next video, we'll explore Nakama some more. In the meantime, visit heroiclabs.com to join the Nakama developer community.